Hello my fellow Ebinskis, I'm Act, your host, and I have a very special video for you today. In today's video, I'll explain how I think One Piece will end. Yes, you heard me right, I'm going to explain how I think One Piece will end. There will be a load of spoilers, so go watch One Piece if you haven't already. It took me about 4 months to binge it myself, so it won't take you that long. Alright, so openings and clickbaity thumbnails aside, I have two ideas on how the end of One Piece might play out. Let's call them ending A and ending B, but before we can go over them, we need to go over what I call the pre-ending. I think, at the end of Elbaf or shortly after, Luffy will find the final poneglyph. Poneglyph? I still don't know how to say that. Anyways, Luffy will find the final poneglyph. And there will be another Marineford-esque war arc that happens. But once the Marines get chased away, and maybe, I don't know, Luffy meets Kobe one more time? Not too sure about that though. But once the Marines get, out of there will be a showdown between Luffy and Blackbeard. Blackbeard's appearance will likely happen later in said war, echoing what happened at Marineford, but this time, Luffy will pull out all the stops to take him out. And I know all of this seems fairly obvious, just stick with me. After Luffy wins against Blackbeard, he heads off to the final island before Raftel, whatever the hell you pronounce it as, the final island before Raftel, Lodestar. Since all log posts will lead to Lodestar, I imagine that Luffy's going to go there. Lodestar is where I think the final battle, Luffy vs. Shanks, will be. But it could also easily take place on Raftel. It will be a long, sentimental battle where the two captains give it their all, but Luffy will ultimately come out on top. And Shanks will likely be lying on the ground by the end of it. And then Luffy will take his beloved straw hat and place it upon the unconscious Shanks and dramatically walk to his next location, where the One Piece is. When he places it on Shanks, when he places his hat on Shanks, because, Shanks said he wants the straw hat back at, the beginning of the series, he said that. I imagine Luffy would probably place it on his head, his face, or his chest. He won't just hand it over to his hand. Anyways, somebody in his crew will notice that he doesn't have a straw hat anymore, and Luffy will say something about not needing it anymore, or something along those lines, like maybe it fulfilled its purpose. Now that Luffy has the One Piece, I'm going to make the bet that Luffy will lose Gear 5, if not all his Devil Fruit abilities somehow. I'm not sure how it would happen, but I just have the unshakable urge that Luffy will lose at least one ability. Or at least this is the ending A that I have envisioned. Now for ending B. If Luffy doesn't lose his abilities, or any ability for that matter, he will likely reign as king of the pirates for a while, but will later end up getting executed. Just like Gold Roger in Kinda Joy Boy. And now, to go over which one is more likely. I think that ending B is more likely due to how Goldie Roger and Joy Boy were killed by the opposing forces. But here's why I think ending A would be better. I think ending A would be better because it would break the cycle of a free-spirited pirate man getting offed by people. I also think it would be more compelling to have an ending where Luffy survives to become a living legend. And you might wonder why I think Luffy might lose his powers, and to that I say, it's all part of being a shonen MC. Seriously, it is a massive trope where the main character loses their powers at the end, but despite that, it doesn't appear to have gotten old yet, and it's a softer farewell to a character than just straight up killing them. I don't think that Luffy pulling a Jonathan Joestar and just f***ing dying would make a very satisfying ending. So that's how I think One Piece will end. Come back in like 50 years to see if I was right, and if I was correct, every person who watches this video owes me $1,000. But yeah, by the end of One Piece, Luffy will most certainly not have his straw hat with him. With that all out of the way, like, subscribe, hit that bell, have a wonderful day, and stay groovy.